Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, hundreds of people are arrested in crowds are tear-gassed in Kenya as the families of dozens killed 2 years ago in anti-government protests march again on the anniversary of the original violence. Also, Bafana Bafana shuts down its detractors with its big win over South Korea. The 1-0 victory over South Korea catapults the South African team through to the knockout round for the first time after a patchy start to their World Cup run. And riding the Highlife, the music that was born in Ghana's port cities is entering its second century, and the old school sounds that have ebulliently serenaded a continent and beyond are being woven by a new generation to usher in new beginnings. But first, Kenyan police say that hundreds of people were arrested on Thursday as marches were held in Nairobi to mark the 2 years since over 60 people were killed in a police crackdown on young demonstrators demanding the repeal of the finance bill. Bastien Renouy followed the day for us.
It was supposed to be business as usual, according to the Minister of Interior, but every shops in the central business district here in Nairobi remained closed, and policemen were everywhere. Look behind me, this is the Parliament building, and policemen were all around it. It was impossible to get inside the Parliament today. The goal was to prevent demonstrations. Policemen were arresting every people carrying a Kenyan flag, but it did not prevent some civil rights organizations from reaching this place. They came to lay flowers in front of the Parliament, where many people were killed in 2024.
We are very peace-loving. We have no intention of causing any harm. And we are asking the police to allow us to finish this march so that we can lay these flowers in remembrance of the Gen Z martyrs who were killed in 2024 and 2025.
We are going to move in unity and place our flowers as a symbol of respect, dignity for our cadres, and to assure them that we are going to continue with the fight until we liberate this country. All police that were involved in the killing of Kenyans, we will not allow. Those police officers must be taken to jail.
Many people here in Nairobi wonder if it was worth deploying so many policemen in the capital. You know, many major businesses and schools remain closed today. Many people worked from home, and economy was at a standstill today in the Kenyan capital. And I can tell you that many civil society activists that I talked to are wondering if it's now forbidden to demonstrate in Kenya. 1 year ahead of the presidential election, they're wondering if their civil rights are now confiscated.
Bastien Renouy there for us. Now, Nigeria's Senate has made a constitutional amendment to allow the country's 36 states to have their own police services. Now, it's a big change as Nigeria currently runs a centralised police system controlled by the federal government. The addition of state police to the existing national forces is meant to take security closer to grassroots communities as the government tries to manage its very complex security challenges. Sam Olokoya breaks it down for us.
The Nigerian government says the plan for the state governments to have their own police is in response to the increasing complexity of security threats like terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, organized criminal networks, and transnational crimes. Armed groups and jihadists like Boko Haram have made life unbearable in the country, with killings, violent attacks, and mass abductions happening almost on a daily basis. Even worse, new terrorist groups continue to emerge in the country, placing enormous pressure on the existing security framework. The government says the planned introduction of state police is a significant development towards addressing the growing insecurity. Some Nigerians, however, caution that state police will not yield the desired results if the social economic factors influencing insecurity are not addressed. This is particularly true for the north of the country, where the insecurity is worse. There is a high level of poverty in the region, while many children there are not attending school. These factors have made the region a fertile ground for terrorist groups to recruit young people. For now, Nigerians are eager to see how the police run by the state governments will perform where the federal police and the army have failed.
Sam Olukoya there for us. Now, tired but satisfied, South African football fans have been celebrating the Bafana Bafana's 1-0 win over South Korea at the World Cup with wild joy and not a little relief.
It means everything. Remember, we're a resilient nation. We've gone through many difficulties. But in Mexico is our next home, and we're going to play Mexico in the final. That's it.
Yes, I think that there will be a surprise now. Africa is strong, not only South Africa, Senegal, Ivory Coast. They are showing a strong character in this World Cup.
We don't care who we get. Doesn't matter. We're ready. We're ready. Team is ready. Doesn't matter who we get.
Good vibes all around. Now, fourth time is the charm, and the side has finally made it out the group stage of the tournament, a success that seemed a far stretch after they were widely written off following their 2-0 loss to co-host Mexico in their opening match. Now, they're now set for Sunday's showdown with Canada in LA on Sunday. South Africa's Maps Maponyane is one of the big names that stayed up into the wee small hours of the night to cheer on the Bafana Bafana, and he's with me now. Maps, thanks very much. I understand you still haven't caught up on your sleep, so we very much appreciate you being with me. So I'm hearing that there was a lot of the country that was pretty lively for a 5 a.m. weekday. Was the game that unifying?
Game really was that unifying. I mean, just seeing the amount of fervor that there was leading up to it. Look, there was a lot of apprehension with how things had started off for us in that first opening game against Mexico, as you mentioned, going down 2-0, being there in Mexico City after traveling all that way with so many other South African traveling fans who were so excited to be there, and then seeing a display of what was a pretty difficult match to watch, and getting 2 red cards and playing below par, and I think the standard just being a bit too subpar for them in a sense, where the moment I think just got too big and they were just so nervous, and not seeing the team come together was really challenging for the country, and there was a lot of despondency and a lot of negative talk, but we still have this thing where we just want to back the boys as much as possible, and we saw glimmers of beautiful hope and light against Czechia in our second game, with an incredible second half where we came back and managed to get a draw out of that game. And then last night was this something where we all just thought, okay, if we can just keep that up and keep our discipline, our faith, and really believe that we can do it and that we can do it against the best, then we will do it against the best, because we're that kind of country that time and time again, when we are, against all the odds and I guess called out of it, we will always manage to try and prove people wrong. If you count us out, then you're really just setting yourself short, because we will prove you wrong time and time again.
Well, you're clearly not alone there, because coach Hugo Bross was pretty stoked to be able to stick it to his critics. He was saying that the team had shut up the big mouths. So clearly this was more than just about victory. It seems that the vindication part was almost as important as the win.
Total vindication. I mean, the guys have been getting such a tough rap from media across the world, and as well as quite a number of locals. But then we always believe that there is that hope, and I think to really be able to turn things around from, again, what was one of our worst performances in that first game, to then play one of the best games of football against a really strong South Korea, I might add. I mean, you've got Sang Hyun-min there, who used to play for Tottenham Hotspurs and now at LAFC. You've got Kim Min-jae, who's at Bayern Munich, and you've also got some representation there that plays for Paris Saint-Germain as well. I mean, Lee is just one of the top players as well. South Korea is a strong team, and for us to have only 1 or 2 players playing in Europe, where they have a lot of European expertise and lots of strength, and to show that local, it really is lacquer, one of those South African sayings, where we can do it just as well on the continent. I mean, we've been counted out as the continent as just participating, but all the African teams really are doing their best and stepping up, and it's so lovely to just see South Africa be able to go through and make history.
Thank you so much, Matt. Well, we know that you'll be following the team's progress over this weekend and wishing them the very best. Go get some sleep. Thank you so much for staying up to speak to me.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, Maps. Now, Highlife was born a century ago in the port cities of Ghana. Blending colonial brass with traditional rhythms, it became the soundtrack of West African independence. It's been recognised by UNESCO as part of our world's intangible cultural heritage. And as it enters its second century, a new generation of musicians is making sure that it doesn't just survive, but drives new sounds. Olivia Bizot tells us more.
This is the sound of a century in motion. Highlife first emerged in the 1920s, fusing Ghanaian musical traditions with colonial instruments. Born in exclusive clubs, it became known as the music of the high society, before becoming the soundtrack of West African independence.
So Highlife in itself is a social phenomenon, but then the music now defines what it is. And it comes with a rhythm, the language, the blending of, genres, trying to put folk and, other things together to create one sound. And if you know what Highlife is. Once you hear it, you know this is Highlife.
Following independence in 1957, Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, funded Highlife band tours across West Africa to promote Pan-African unity. As the sound spread into different styles, Ghanaian musicians feared their role as pioneers would be forgotten. Veterans like Bessa Simmons have spent years fighting for recognition.
There was a big risk of Highlife, just disappearing into the darkness, but it's there, but nobody mentions it. Musicians across West Africa started playing their own brand of Highlife. So it will be very easy for them to say, hey, this is, we are the originators of Highlife.
Late last year, that advocacy finally struck the right chord. UNESCO inscribed Highlife on its intangible cultural heritage list, a rare distinction that places it among the world's most treasured musical traditions.
By being on the list, Ghana also has an access to international assistance. It is part of the international cooperation mechanisms of the convention. So we work together with all the countries together to make sure that the importance of this heritage is understood, valorized, and being used by communities.
That global recognition is now translating back to the stage. Highlife bands like San Trophy are bringing Ghanaian rhythms to packed venues from London to Tokyo to Paris.
For a few hours, it felt like I left Paris, like I traveled thousands of kilometers. And now I really want to discover Africa. I want to go to Ghana right now. I'm taking the plane immediately.
With its origins now officially protected, Highlife's framework continues to shape the continent's modern music industry, serving as a direct rhythmic blueprint for global hits in Afrobeats and Amapiano.
What a lovely way to wrap up the bulletin. That is all we have time for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.
Liverpool, home of the Beatles and a northern powerhouse for arts and culture. But how has Brexit affected the music scene here?
Brexit was the worst thing that ever happened for us here.
Que ce soit les Français ou les Anglais, on est totalement perdants. En tout cas, l'offre culturelle est plus pauvre.
10 years after the UK voted to leave the EU, we're here to find out more in a special show for Arts 24.
Watch Arts 24 with Olivia Salazar-Winspear on France 24.
From 10 p.m. to midnight, catch up with the latest news in World Roundup with Sharon Gaffney. Get all the facts and insights on recent world events.
Join me, Sharon Gaffney, for World Roundup on France 24.